What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. And remember, the new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you up to date here. And also, thanks so much for hitting the like button for us down below. We got some major stimulus news going on here on the state level and the federal level here. Multiple different things. If you didn't see my video yesterday, I'm committed to keeping you up to date here with everything going on here. Multiple different states announcing more stimulus relief here. I just had a major video where I went over as many states as I can or as I could here. That was about a day or two ago here. But even since then, we've had some major news here. Here's a quick news. Literally from a news station here. Check this out. We're going to go over a couple different things here. So check out this first.
New relief checks could start going out to Mainers soon. Governor Mills will sign the supplemental budget into law this afternoon. It got overwhelming support in the legislature. The budget includes $850 checks for more than 850,000 Mainers. It also includes tax relief, investing in workforce training, including for child care workers, 2 years of free community college, and funding to keep 2 veterans' homes open.
This is for the state of Maine. The governor has now signed this. You can see here $850 stimulus checks for the state of Maine per person. This is $1,700 for married couples for almost 1 million people for the state of Maine. You can see here the governor has signed this now as of yesterday. And this is literally here from the state of Maine, the governor's page. And what's important here is we're seeing more and more states do this. Here's a little more information to kind of help people understand at least how the state of Maine's is going to work.
Now to those $850 relief checks included in the state supplemental budget. Here's who's eligible. It's all based on how you filed your taxes. So if you file as single or married filing separately, the upper income limit is $100,000 a year. For those who file as head of household, it's $150,000 a year. For those married filing jointly, it's $200,000 a year. Now you must file a tax return by Halloween of this year to be eligible for those checks. State Democrats and Republicans passed the budget with overwhelming support. This afternoon, Republican gubernatorial candidate Paul LePage responded. He said Maine needs a permanent income tax cut, not just a one-time payment. He called it, quote, an election year gimmick. So we got a question from a viewer named Karen, who lives in Gardner, about those $850 relief checks that are part of the supplemental budget. She asked us, I've heard that seniors on Social Security, who are not normally required to file income tax, will be required to do so to get these checks. Is this correct? And she also asked, how will they do that when they don't receive a W-2 or 1099 or other type of form to file income tax? So let's verify. It's true. To be eligible for those checks, you must file a Maine income tax return as a full-year resident by Halloween of this year. It's right here in the language of the supplemental budget. Now, as for that second question of how do I file if I don't receive a W-2, that's the tricky part. There is funding in the supplemental budget for organizations like Cash Maine to put together education campaigns to help those older Mainers file those tax returns. Now, we've reached out to the state and Cash Maine, who say they're still working on those details of how a person should file and what forms they need to use.
Now, as we go forward and all these states kind of pass their own stimulus checks or stimulus packages, because as I said, each state is different. All states got billions of dollars here. I'm showing you these news clips because some people really, I get comments that they don't believe this stuff. So I'm trying to show you news clips to show you this. I'm showing you literally the articles from the governor's pages, and I still get comments that people don't believe this stuff. I don't know what else to show you. Literally, states are doing this. It's a snowball effect. I'm literally seeing dozens of states do this. We have a whole plethora of states that have already passed checks like this. I have a video I just did about a day or two ago. There's a whole handful of states that have already passed stimulus checks, ranging from anywhere from several $100s to uh, Maine is one of the largest ones of $850 per person. So $1,700 for a couple. In fact, Maine actually says that the average household is going to get around $1,700. There's actually some extra things in there like property tax rebates as well for homeowners and stuff like that. In fact, a lot of states are doing really like stimulus packages. Okay. So, in addition to checks, a lot of states are doing property tax rebates as well for homeowners. Sometimes states are doing checks for or property tax rebates, which is really a check, same thing, for homeowners and for renters. Some states are doing where they're pausing their gas tax. If you're in a state that has done that or has proposed that, you may have heard about that on the news. If you watch the news, I get comments of people saying, Jimmy, you're my news. So, yeah, I get that as well. But some states are pausing their gas tax. Some states are considering that. Some states are pausing their grocery tax. Some states are doing that in addition to stimulus checks on the state level. Some states are lowering their tax rates. Some states are getting rid of taxes for seniors. Let me go back and touch on what they said in that news clip. Occasionally, I have to delete news clips if the news station like files a copyright. I'm technically allowed to show news clips because it's news. The actual rule is I'm allowed to show news clips, but occasionally I'll get a news station that'll file a copyright claim, and instead of like going round and round with them, it's actually just easier to delete it. So if you ever kind of watch a video of mine and you'll notice that like what is he talking about? I didn't see a news clip. That's because I had to delete it. But it's rare that I have to do that. If you're an avid watcher of my channel and you ever see that happen, that's why. Just a kind of little side note there. But like I said, it's pretty rare. I can combat it. I can, but it's a whole process. I don't really go through it anymore. But like I said, I like to kind of show you guys this stuff and prove to you, show you guys the stuff on the screen, so you guys can kind of see that this is really the truth. I kind of show you articles from reputable sources. I kind of show you literally the governor's websites. I try to not show CNN and Fox News too much because I get anytime I show CNN or Fox, I always get people that says CNN's fake news or Fox is fake news. I do show them sometimes, and really I use both sources. But every time I do, I always get people that say, how could you believe that source? I get it, but really I'm not from either side. But sometimes I'll see an article from either one, and I'll use it because it's just whatever I'm talking about. But all these states are really kind of starting to do this one by one. If you comment something like, why isn't Florida doing this, or why isn't Texas doing this, I'm getting a lot of comments like that. Or Ohio. I'm from Ohio. I get it. I get those comments. It's not that I'm ignoring you guys. It's just that there really isn't a lot going on with your state. Now, all three of those governors happen to be Republican. I'm not choosing sides. I'm from Ohio. I get it, guys. Um, there are Republican governors that are doing this. But those are three of the larger states, the larger states. And there are Republican governors that are doing this as well. In fact, we just had, what state was it? You guys are going to have better memories than me. Sometimes these states there's so many states that are doing this that it's just sometimes I lose track of which state's doing what. But we just had a state that had a proposal where the Democrats proposed a stimulus check. The Republicans shot it down, and then the Republicans proposed their own kind of version of a stimulus check as well. In fact, I know what it is. It was Missouri. So Missouri kind of sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. And really, like in the case of Florida, their Governor Ron DeSantis, he passed already at least 1 month of a fuel tax suspension only for 1 month. And I know it's better than nothing, but it's going to make everybody wait until 1 month before the election. So all the way till October. I know you get a lot of criticism for that. Better than nothing. That's really just a fraction of their stimulus. It probably cost them around 200 million. This is just a fraction of the billions and billions and billions they got. Florida's one of the larger states, so they probably got close to, I don't know off the top of my head, but probably like 7 or 8 billion, probably somewhere around there. The larger states got all like a large amount there. So yeah, I'll keep you up to date here as they figure out what to do with their stimulus money. But I'll keep up to date here as I see more and more states here. But I have a really big update here on a big state here with $2,000 stimulus checks. Again, I'll show it to you right here from a news station because again, I always get a few comments from people saying, "I don't know, Jimmy, is this real?" So here it is right here from the local news station from the state of Pennsylvania with really large checks, $2,000.
Yeah, Janelle, good morning. The governor wants to send up to $2,000 to Pennsylvania families who continue to recover from the pandemic and help them ease their financial burdens. And this is what we learned from Governor Wolf yesterday. The proposal is called the Pennsylvania Opportunity Plan, and it would use $500 million in an American Rescue Plan Act dollars to send direct payments of $2,000 to Pennsylvania households with an income of $80,000 or less. Some say that the payout is similar to stimulus checks that former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden pushed at the height of the pandemic.
This is to put $2,000 into the pockets of Pennsylvanians right now to help them with the higher costs that they're all facing, groceries, gas, whatever they're facing, $2,000. The idea is that if you're a household with $80,000 income or less, you qualify for this.
Governor Wolf called on Republican lawmakers to pass the legislation. However, Republicans have said that keeping the money in reserve is necessary to help balance the state's budget through the next 2.5 years. If the legislature does not act at all, that money does go back to the federal government by the end of December of 2024.
Yeah, so that's for the whole state of Pennsylvania as well. You heard it directly from the governor right there. So yeah, he wants to send out $2,000 stimulus checks for the entire state as long as they make under $80,000, which is really a lot of people. I mean, if you make more than $80,000, um, do you really need a stimulus check? That's a good question. That's a fair amount. So for Pennsylvania, I live right next door to Pennsylvania, Ohio, Pennsylvania. That's a pretty fair amount. It's not like New York City or California where that's not a lot of money. I can understand in areas like that. In Ohio or Pennsylvania, um, that's a pretty fair amount. That's a pretty good amount. And what's really good about that is it's $2,000. That's a lot. That's a lot. Now, a lot of states can't afford that much because we've seen a lot of states that were in the negative. They were in the negative here just in the last year or two, and they're actually even a little, shy, gun shy about potentially sending out money, but they are, or they're proposing to. Remember that these checks all have to get approved by the House and Senate of the state, just like the federal stimulus checks. So, stimulus check one, stimulus check two, underneath former President Donald Trump, that had to get approved with a split legislature. That's when the Democrats controlled the House and the Republicans controlled the Senate underneath Mitch McConnell at the time when the former President Trump was president. So there was a Republican president, a Republican Senate, and a Democratic House. Now, stimulus check number three was when everything is Democrat. Democrat House, Democrat Senate, and Democrat president. But there's not enough Democrats in the Senate to pass things normally. There's only 50 Democrats in the Senate and 50 Democrats in the House. It's literally 50-50. So the only reason the Democrats control the Senate is because that 50-50 tie, the tiebreaker vote, goes to whoever is the vice president. Okay. And the vice president just happens to be a Democrat, which is Kamala Harris. So if the vice president was a Republican, then the Republicans would actually be in control of the Senate because it's a 50-50 tie. So there's actually not a Democratic majority in the Senate. It's 50-50. But the Democrats control the Senate because the tiebreaker goes to technically the president of the Senate is whoever is the vice president of the United States, believe it or not. So the president of the Senate is the vice president of the United States, Kamala Harris. Yeah. So if you ever see, um, them calling Madam President to Kamala Harris, that's because the vice president of the United States is considered the president of the Senate. Yeah, if you ever see that, I always kind of get some weird comments in the comment section occasionally saying, "Why are they calling Kamala Harris the president?" That's because she's considered the president of the Senate. Yeah, I always get a few odd, comments occasionally. Like they're not actually calling her the president of the United States. She's considered the president of the Senate. So if you ever see her presiding over the Senate, that's the reason why. So Democrats can actually pass stimulus checks on their own with the reconciliation process. And that is how they passed the $1,400 stimulus checks. So those $1,400 stimulus checks that you got last year were passed through the special reconciliation process with Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. And believe it or not, both of them voted yes on those $1,400 stimulus checks and the child tax credits that went out for all of last year as well, which were $3,000 for children ages 6 through 17 and $3,600 for children under the age of 6 in monthly payments, $250 for children over 6, $300 for children under 6, which, by the way, you do have to file a tax return to get the other half of that money. Okay? Remember, the monthly checks only went out from July through December. So if you're not normally a tax filer, if you're on Social Security or you don't make enough money, if you're on disability, any of those reasons, you want to go file a tax return this year in 2022 for last year for 2021. So you want to file tax return now, even if we're past the tax filing deadline now, even if it's past April 18th, which it is now, you still want to go file a tax return. Okay, even if you don't have any earned income, you still want to file a tax return because you want to claim that extra $1,500 to $1,800 per child because you didn't get that. You didn't get the monthly checks. Okay. Just like we've seen from that other video earlier in the video that said, if you're from one of these states that do end up passing a state stimulus check, if they require you to file a state tax return, each state's going to be a little bit different. Some states are actually passing special circumstances. One state has it where they're actually looking up people that don't file state taxes and they're looking up through their driver's license. I don't recall which state it was, but I have that in my other video that I'll link that to. That is passing a state stimulus check as well. So some states are doing it differently. Some states are actually, like California, is actually considering state stimulus checks, and they're doing it through who registers a car. In fact, New York's considering stimulus checks for who registers cars as well. Okay, so both New York and California are considering stimulus checks for people who register cars because of the price of gas. They haven't passed them yet, but those are under consideration as well. Remember, California sent out stimulus checks last year $600 per person, and $1,100 per person if you had a child, but you needed to file a tax return. You needed to file a tax return. So if you never got it, it's probably because you didn't file a tax return with the state of California. Okay. So all you need to do is file a tax return with the state. Okay. So again, you need to talk to somebody though about your personal situation before you go and do this, probably just to get a little bit of tax advice. So if you, because again, I don't know your personal situation. If you're from California, probably wait until they pass this year's stimulus check, okay, to see what the requirements are. Or if you're from Maine, or if you're from one of the other states that are passing a stimulus check this year, wait to see what the requirements are, okay, and then maybe talk to somebody who knows you personally and ask them about your personal situation. If you're not normally a tax filer, if you're normally a tax filer, then don't worry about it because you're gonna file taxes anyways. But this is just kind of a little bit of friendly advice. Um, but you might want to file a tax return. If you're not normally a tax filer, just file a tax return. Remember, you got to file a state tax return potentially to get your state stimulus check if they require it. Okay. Just a little bit of friendly advice. But remember, I don't know your specific uh, circumstances because I don't know you. I'm talking to tens of thousands of people on this video. Okay. Each state's going to be a little different. Okay. Going forward. And you might be on disability, you might be on Social Security. Everybody's a little different. Talk to somebody in your family that might know about taxes. Talk to a friend that might know about taxes, or walk into an H&R Block, or just say, hey, can you give me some free quick advice? I just need to know 5 minutes. Okay, just walk in there and just ask them for some free help. Okay, or you can go to Google and just type in IRS free tax advice, and IRS can actually set you up with somebody for free. Just make sure you're aware you're clicking on the irs.gov link and you're not clicking on some scammy website or something like that. The IRS will actually set you up with free tax help. Um, but yeah, all these things kind of, you don't want to miss out on these stimulus checks just because you're not a tax filer. You don't want to miss out on the child tax credits if you have children for last year because you're still owed the other half of that money. Those monthly checks only paid you for half of the checks. So you got to file a federal tax return to get the other half of that money. I'm just here to help out as many people as I can. And I'll show you this right here on the screen. This is literally directly from the IRS right here on their website. Advanced child tax credit payments in 2021. This is for last year, but this is for right now. I'll zoom this in. Under the American Rescue Plan this is the third stimulus check package that sent out the child tax credits for all of last year. Advance payments of up to half of the child tax credits were sent to eligible taxpayers. But even if you weren't a taxpayer per se, if you don't file taxes, you still got them, right? Okay. If you received advance payments, those monthly checks, you can claim the rest of the child tax credits when you file your 2021 tax return. That means you have to file the tax return to get it. To get it. The IRS even says that there's probably going to be tens of thousands of people that don't get it because they don't file a tax return and they don't realize they have to file a tax return. They're just going to miss out on it because they're not watching people like me on YouTube and they don't realize it. Or they're scared to file a tax return, or they just don't know the information that they need to do it. Okay? So, yeah, if you know anybody that is in this circumstance that doesn't file tax returns and has children, share this video with them and tell them to watch this whole video. And if they don't believe me, or go to the IRS website and just Google this, or talk to somebody that knows about taxes, because they're going to miss out on $1,500 to $1,800 per child just for 2021. And going forward, this could be the same situation for future years as well. And Lily wants to say it could be for state stimulus checks too. So Lily wants you to not miss out on any money either. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help out as many people as we can. So, if we can help out people, file a tax return. You literally can file tax returns for free most of the time. Um, really just depends on how you do it. But that's my thoughts for today. Let me know your thoughts. I literally show you guys this stuff right on the screen, directly from the IRS, directly from the governor's website, directly from the local news stations when applicable. So it's literally as trustworthy as can be. And I'm going to try to keep you up to date with everything as possible. I'm going to keep you up to date with all the states as I see them, with federal stimulus checks as I see them, and everything else you guys need to know about. The war in Russia, it's very, very important. World War III, potentially, I mean, that whole thing, inflation, everything you guys need to know, because anything important, I'll keep you up to date here. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, just click the subscribe button. It's literally free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And if you haven't seen this video, covers a lot of different states and federal stimulus checks that could be coming out in the near future. And a lot of states have already passed stimulus checks that you might not even know about. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.